like, you've got to understand now that Klay is not going to be pre-injury Klay. Heck, Klay doesn't have to be last season Klay, where he was 21.5 points per game, or whatever it was, on 42% three-point shooting. Does not have to be that guy. Andrew Wiggins, 18 to 20-point guy, all-star in 2022, second best player on the championship team. You know what? Doesn't need to be that guy. Like, we're speaking about, can Wiggs get back to 2022 all-star form, second best player on the championship? Can he get back to that? You know what? He doesn't have to. He legitimately does not have to. We are speaking about the two guys that are the fourth and fifth best player on the team now. And you know what? In 12 months' time, they might be the fifth and the sixth, depending on how Pods develops. Although I'd like to think Wiggs would still be, Wiggs is 28. I'd like to think he's still the fourth best player on the team. Maybe he gets back up to being the third best player on the team ahead of Draymond at some stage, given Draymond's 33 years of age. But we've got to kind of base our expectations on that. Like, they're the fourth and fifth best players on the team. And that's kind of the responsibility that they should bear. And not think that, JK's emerged into this 20-plus point per game scorer and he's been unbelievable, while still retaining the idea that Wiggins and Klay are each going to average 18 to 20 points a game. No, like, JK's ascension into being the second best scorer on this team is going to take shots away from Wiggs and Klay. So I actually couldn't really care how much those guys average. I care about the efficiency. And so you look at Andrew Wiggins today. Go back to yesterday, 21 points, 10 rebounds. Maybe his best game for this, but maybe his best two-way game for the season, which would have been super ironic if they traded him today on the back of that. Like, arguably his best game of the season, then they trade him. It really wasn't going to happen after that. I know one game's not going to mean anything, but you couldn't have traded him after that. And then you fast forward to today, 7 points in the first quarter, and then only makes 2 buckets after that. Finishes with 11 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. And you look at if you didn't watch the game, you look at the box score and you think, average Wiggs game. Like, not great. Like, hopefully he's got to be better than that. No, I don't think so. I thought it was a great Wiggs game, personally. You watch that game. So, yesterday he keeps Tyrese Maxey to 5 of 14 shooting for 12 points, and today he keeps Tyrese Halliburton to, was it 7 points on 2 of 7 shooting, whatever it was. 2 of 7 shooting. Like, that's a good Wiggs game today. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, made the right reads offensively. 5 of 10 shooting is fine. 5 assists with 0 turnovers is really good. Like, really good Wiggs game. And that's why I think we've got to adjust our expectations here to couldn't care less about what the guy is doing scoring-wise necessarily. He doesn't need to be the 18 to 20 point per game scorer the Warriors once needed, because they've got JK for that. Right now, Wiggs, first and foremost, his responsibility is as the number one perimeter defender on this team. That is his number one responsibility. And so if he can keep the lead guard, lead wing, whatever, to a below average game by their standards, which in the last 2 games against Maxey and Halliburton, they have been well below their normal average. If he can do that and just be efficient enough offensively and not have, disastrous shooting games where he's like 2 of 10, 1 of 6 from 3-point range. If he can just be efficient enough, like today, 5 of 10, 1 of 3, fine. Good game. Like, that's impactful to winning. And that's the thing here. Like, you've got to base the expectation not on what he was a couple of years ago in 2022, but on his new role, on what his responsibility on this roster really is, which, as I said, is the number one perimeter defender, and just take him for what this version of Andrew Wiggins is. And maybe you say, he's overpaid. It's still got 3 years remaining on his contract at nearly $90 million. Maybe you say he's overpaid, but again, if he can become an elite perimeter defender again, and he's efficient enough on offense and gives you 15 points a game, that's average of 15 points a game. You know what? He's going to have games yesterday where he goes for 21. He's going to have games today where he goes for 11. That's just kind of how defenses are going to guard Steph, how defenses are going to guard JK. He's going to have, his opportunities are going to kind of come in and out somewhat. But if he can just average 15 points for the season on 45 to 48% shooting from the floor, get back to mid to high 30s from 3, cool. That's great. And that'll lead to winning. I promise you that will lead to winning with what Steph is still doing what JK is now doing, what Draymond is back doing, that'll be fine. And the same goes for Klay. Doesn't need to be 18, 20 points per game. If he's 15 points per game with 40% from three, great. That's fine. And so we just got to adjust the expectations here and think that these guys, they're not going to get back to being 18 to 20 point scorers because the Warriors don't need them to be. They don't need them to be.